Okay, so first guest on the website copywriter is the amazing Chris Wilcox from Lightbulb Web Design. So I am going to just hand it straight over to Chris to introduce yourself, Chris, and tell us how long you've been in the world of web design.
Okay, no pressure on me to introduce myself at all, I think, Hannah. I'm Chris. I've been, in terms of web design itself, I built my first website back in, I think, 1997. Although that was for me and my modified Vauxhall Nova, so let's maybe not go back to that far too much. But I got into it more when I was working in IT support for a number of schools, and the internet turned up and everybody legally needed a website at that point. The government dictated every school's got to get one. Me being the IT guy, got lumbered with best part of 17 schools to build websites for. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, I did not like it at that time. I never ever considered it would become a business for me to do in the future. It was literally, in terms of what you do, which is the content, it was like pulling teeth to get it off anybody. So I had 17 websites with nothing on that nobody would send me stuff for. And I just didn't enjoy it at all. It was just one of those jobs I had to do. Roll on to 2013, I think, and we got our garden landscaped. And the guy that did it, as much as his website was full of amazing photographs of the work he'd done, the website itself was really naff. It was not showing him off to the level that he deserved to be. And we managed to wangle a little bit of a discount if I redid his website for him. So that was the first. It was free at the time, and there was no charge for that in terms of it wasn't a business one for me. But Dougie, the guy that ran the business, basically thought I was 21, needed a new job, and just kicked me till I decided to take on and actually try it as a business. So in early 2014, I literally put myself out there into a few groups I was in online, a few forums, did one or two sites for people I knew, had an accidental meeting with an old school friend at a kid's party. And they were like, oh, wow, yeah, I've got loads of people I work with that I need to sort websites out for. Let's talk. So to be honest, 2014 onwards, it went bonkers. I probably did, on average at the time, I was picking up maybe 30 clients a year. Inquiries were around 3 or 4 times that. So the conversion rate was pretty good, I believe, in terms of 30-40% conversions. And it never stopped. I was still doing it part-time. So I was still in the schools at the time. And it got to a point in 2016 where literally I was too busy. I had too many client projects on for my own work. My income level from the website had matched my day job. And as much as that was quite nice to have 2 salaries, it just had to take a switch which one, and I was not going to stay in employment at all. So I went full-time 2016, and I've again never looked back, really. So in terms of the content, which was your question, very, very early on, I realized that it's difficult to get content off people, even as a business. Although it took me quite a while to kind of get my head around all of the processes involved, and that actually to not just consider myself as the only person that has to do these things. So I did get 1 or 2 local people working on copywriting for me, but it was quite a hard sell. The price bracket I was in at the time, people didn't want to spend double that on getting a copywriter involved, sometimes more. And I think it was into 2019, I think I started stalking you on LinkedIn a little bit. And that moved into you being involved as in the Power Hour, where you support my clients to help them understand what to write. And now we're at the point where actually any projects we've had going forward now, you guys write the copy, because it's just, one, it's better. It's written far better than most people can write themselves, understandably. You guys are the experts. And 2, it saves them the time and the hassle, and they should be working on their business, not in it. And the copywriting side is just, they shouldn't be doing it. They should be getting on with making money their own way. So it became quite obvious quite quickly. Once I got my head around that aspect and the pricing involved, that was the only way to do it, because the results just better. For me, for my clients, fundamentally, they get a better website, which is what it's about.
I think it's really hard for people to see how important copy is until they've experienced a website that doesn't work. So usually people have to go through the process of either building their own website or getting a website and writing their own content, and realizing that they're not getting the results, and thinking about the reason why they're not getting the results they want. So it's usually the people who want copy are kind of the further down the line, aren't they?
There can be. There's a price element to it. A lot of the people that don't want to pay for it, they're valuing the results on what they pay for them, and they can't always see the connection between what copywriting will do, good copywriting will do for a website, versus what it won't do if you don't have it. And I think getting that education element across is a challenge. If they don't want to pay the money, then they can't do it. But yeah, when you see the issues where the usual welcome to my website, they talk about themselves all the time and what they do and what they've done and why they're amazing, and none of that actually identifies and answers the questions those website visitors want to see, that helps them trust that client or trust that business and believe that they're a good fit for what they want and actually get in touch. And I was speaking to an inquiry this week about, they literally came to me and said, we want to get more customers. We've got loads of people know who we are in terms of the business name, but nobody finds us from our services. So like, right, this is what we can do. And he went, oh, I'm only paying £20 a month now. I don't want to spend any more. So well, £20 a month's got you literally nothing out of it. But if you don't want to spend any more money, we can't get you any more than you've got. So it's definitely down to the business owner and understanding it all.
Would you say that, so web designers come in all different shapes and sizes, and would you say that, and when I say shapes and sizes, I mean like lots of different skill sets? Yeah,
that's good. So, I'll go that way.
yeah. So would you say that you're more focused on like your strength is design, or you're more of a techie kind of web designer, or something else? Because I've noticed from your content, you're very focused on content. Like you really passionately believe that content is really important, which obviously I think is brilliant, because I'm a copywriter.
Not biased at all.
So like where did you start off? Did you start as more like a techie web designer, or did you start off as more, because a lot of graphic designers turn into web designers, you get more kind of like the techie side, there's a lot of different skill sets are involved in web design? I'm
almost going to classify myself as none of those to a degree. I started it from a technical perspective. The first website I did within the school environment was an internal website for the staff and the kids to access as soon as a browser fires up. I've got no design background. My background in terms of educationally is IT and computing and H&D programming and all sorts and that type of stuff. But I think what I realized my skill is, it took me quite a while to kind of get my head around this, is I actually see the potential of other people and what they can bring to the work I do and what we deliver to our clients. So over the years, I mean, I think many web designers dabble in every single possible related element in the beginning because they feel as if they need to. They do SEO, they do graphic design, they do logos, they do branding, they do copy, they do the whole thing. Whereas quite quickly, I realized in the beginning, when SEO is one thing, it's such a big field. Somebody else knows what to do more than me. Let's get them involved. And that's why from 2020 on, of literally collaboration is what the business is built on. Every project now is no longer myself involved, just me. I've got some amazing designers on board. I've got great people with SEO, with PPC, graphic, any element of a website. There's people I've connected with over the years that now are all involved as they need to be. And yourself now with a copy was kind of like the final little, that box needs ticks, because it's just, it's not about me. It's about what we can deliver. And yeah, we could charge less and do less, and people can get a website for 20 quid a month, but it's not going to deliver to them what it should do, what it potentially can do. So when I see people like you online, it's like just a little box in my head goes, right, they're coming in somehow. In the future, there's a point where that's going to become an element of how we work. And I think at this point now, I've got all the bases covered. There's not a gap at the moment for me in terms of expertise. And I think now really my involvement is more to do with that management of that project and those people to keep it all together. And I feel that's my strength now, is not the technical, not the design. It's literally that cohesive middle person who literally brings it all to what it needs to be.
I love that. And like, I think most web designers have been there originally, like when they first set out. I know when I first set out in 2015 as a web designer, I did all the things. Like, I was trying to do too many things. I was writing content, I was trying to do SEO, I was trying to do the design, I was trying to do the build, I was doing everything, and it just doesn't work. You can offer a cheap website doing that, but it doesn't work as the end result.
There's so many routes you can take. I think now I'd almost class myself as a virtual agency. There seems to be most web designers are either individual or they're an agency where they employ staff. There's not many that I don't think I could name anybody that specifically behaves like a virtual agency, where I don't want to employ staff, because if I get a quiet month and I've got to cover staffing and salaries and everything else that goes with it and all the paperwork, whereas I'm not limited to who I work with either. So if I've got a project comes in where for some reason there's a really specific niche and I need a specific design approach or a specific SEO approach, I can literally link with the person that can fit that brief. If I've got staff, I haven't got 12 different designers on my team, unlikely to have, that I can go, right, that's yours because that's your niche. So that flexibility for me is just, it's brilliant, because I don't have to be limited by anything. I don't like limits, no good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm exactly the same, and I'm going that way as well myself. The more I've niched, the more I've got specialisms and found different people who are really good at certain aspect of the website. So people think website copywriting is very niche in itself, but actually you've got like structuring the content. You've got creating the message and pulling out the USP and all that kind of stuff, and writing headlines, and then you've got the writing the actual main body copy, and then you've got proofreading, and all these things need different skill sets for. So when I take on a project, there can be like 3 people working on that project, from myself, another copywriter, and a proofreader. So I think just the more niche I get, the more specialist and the more specialist.
No, that's the way it goes. I mean, it's quite. I mean, it's such a change from. I mean, going back to when I launched and started off and what I was doing, it was literally client driven. It's like, what do you want? Right? What do you want me to write on that website page? Give me the text. Give me the pictures, and I just literally put it together and went, there you go, that's it. Whereas now it's like, right, no, this is the process, this is what we need from you, this is the elements, give us this stuff, we'll put it together the way it should be. And it's about taking ownership in the way we work and saying, right, this process exists because it delivers. We are the ones here that you paid to do this as the experts. Let us get on with it. And that's quite a different approach than getting the client. The clients they shouldn't be managing projects like this themselves, because it's not their expertise point.
Yeah, and they don't want to. Like,
some of them do, but yeah, they shouldn't. they can stick with the 20 quid a month people. So it's just getting that approach fundamentally, because I see the change it will make to what we deliver. It's like, right, I've got to do that now. I can't not do it, because if I stop doing that, the process doesn't work and the results are worse, and I'm not willing to do that, basically. Tough.
Yeah, definitely. So what's happening with your membership and stuff? Because I know you've got a membership that you kind of mainly promote on Facebook. That's right, isn't it? So how's that going? And what was the idea behind that?
I got too many people around me were doing membership sites. I thought, I've got to give a go at this one. I guess in a way, I'm still aware that there are a lot of people out there that don't want a pay somebody to build a website for them for their own reasons, whether it's cost, whether it's just they literally want to learn it for fun or they're interested. And the vast majority of platforms, there's so many website builder platforms out there. I don't want to go into names of them. I'm sure people can pick a few out of the air for themselves. They might promise to deliver this amazing platform and it's going to give you an amazing website, but they're not actually giving you any process, any training, any guidance, any support really on how to do that, what to do, and then also elements like what you do is an awareness of what the content should be, how it should be written, and kind of the guidance on that one. So the membership really is to work with people like that and help them out. So Dissolve, which is the name of that element of what I do, is basically an online community where the main website is for tutorials on, it's basically taking my process from Lightbulb, distilling it into a massive video tutorials and Discord support forums for people to drop into, to take them through the process that I do with clients, but they can work on it themselves. So I give them, it's their own site. They're not locked into anything like the builders are. You can't leave an online builder. Once you've built it with them, you can't take a backup and host it yourself. It's literally locked to their platform. You're stuck in terms of custom work on that. A lot of them will allow you to bring custom coding in and develop other bits and features that don't exist. And this is an opportunity for people that join to basically empty my head into theirs and just go through it. So yeah, we opened in April, I think, to the founding members, which was a soft launch in essence. We only opened to the mailing list that had. I've got a few now who got one live website. I've got another which is nearly finished. So there will be something to show for it soon enough. And we'll be opening to public members in September. So that's exciting. I've been adding membership training as well. So not only is it about the website, there's training in there now how to create your own membership site within your own site as well. I'll be adding in e-commerce next after that. So it's literally the full package of, what you want to do. Here's how you do it. Here's Discord. Come in, ask me questions. We've got a live masterclass video every fortnight. People can drop in and literally get me for 15 minutes to themselves on there as well. So yeah, it was literally just to help others out that want to do it themselves and address some of the issues.
I love that idea as well, because like, as much as we can sit here and say, oh, you need this, you need the best thing, you need the best package, you need this, like there are people where they literally can't afford the full bells and whistles.
They don't want to. I mean, it's a quite a different client type between the two. I mean, Lightbulb is predominantly corporate, or at least that kind of financial, aesthetics, legal, that type of client base more nowadays. Whereas Dissolve is literally, I've got some Reiki practitioners, I've got some mindset people, I've got quite a range of businesses, but they're not aimed at the same client type whatsoever. I can't imagine a director of a £5 million company is going to sit there and go, I'm going to join Dissolve and build my own website. It's not likely to happen unless he wants a hobby and it's part-time to talk about his golf or his hobbies or whatever it might be. I don't know.
Well, it's an excellent membership for somebody who would want to train to be a web designer, isn't it? I mean, like that's...
I'm trying not to go there with it yet. I think in terms of the price bracket for Dissolve, to teach somebody how to be a web designer, yes, they could get some of that from this. However, there's so much more to doing that than literally how to build a website. And if I was going to be teaching people how to be a web designer, I think I'd be charging a bit more, because I'm literally doing myself out of business. Potentially, they're literally becoming competitors to me. So if I ever do that, it'll probably be more of a course-based one rather than a membership type. It's in my head, but I'm not going down that path yet, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be more of kind of a taster, wouldn't it? Like almost.
Yeah. I mean, we're using a specific platform. We're using a platform called Joomla, which I know has got a lot of haters and lovers, same as WordPress has. But fundamentally, the cost for them to build their own site with what I do is not that much different than they would pay to an online platform. And once hopefully they never leave my membership, but if they do leave my membership, it's literally going to cost them per year £100, and it's theirs to keep and keep hosting it themselves and pay for a couple of relatively low price extensions in there as well. So it's not, there's not a massive cost investment for them longer term either, so it's cool.
And what I really like about it is the branding. I love the branding. I think it's absolutely excellent. I like the branding for Lightbulb web design as well. But who was it who did the branding for
Rebecca Watson did the logo and stuff for me. Yeah.
It's really good. And I love the name Dissolve. It's like dissolving the barriers, isn't it?
It's breaking the barriers down to being able to build and manage your own website fundamentally. Yeah, it was quite a while to get that name. It was quite a challenge to find one that nobody else was using for something else and bring it together. But I like it. It's cool.
Where does the name for Lightbulb come from?
A business that I never started when I was 21.
Right.
So back in just after my university days, the last part of my H&D course was to create a booking system for my hairdresser at the time, was what I chose as my project, all done in Microsoft Access, going back all those days when that was really good to use. And I kind of somehow envisioned myself as going into software design then. And I came up with this business card, which was Bright Ideas Software and Design. And that was the light bulb with the bright idea and the name of it. And of course, when Lightbulb finally came around as a business, everybody was using that name. Everybody was called Bright Ideas this, Bright Ideas that. So I spent a fortnight literally searching online for businesses to find a name that I liked that fitted in with that Lightbulb concept but wasn't being used. So Lightbulb literally came from that original concept. Just moved on a touch from that really. It's the same concept, I guess. That kind of inspiration, that kind of so that's what
my first personal brand logo in 2019, because I've changed it a few times since, had a light bulb inside as part of it. That ideas theme and stuff. But how many how many previous business ideas have you had and not ran with them as an entrepreneur?
You're following my content a lot. You know all this already by the sounds of it. Trying to think back the first big idea that I had was when I was working in the schools. The internet was becoming a lot more used in the classrooms, and filtering that internet effectively was becoming quite a big issue for the classrooms and the kids. And as much as there were options out there, there were global filters that applied to the entire internet connection. So I wanted to be able to filter by classroom, as in a group of computers, and also by the name of the person logged on, and also allow the teacher in that classroom to be able to turn the internet on or off for that classroom just by visiting their webpage. So we actually got working concept of a web filter solution that did that. However, we had the back end and we got stuck at the front end, and the guy that I was working with literally got a new job and got so busy with it, he didn't have time to build the front end for us. And by the time that would have come out, there was everyone else doing it as well. So we would have been a little bit ahead of the game at that stage, but it worked. We could literally technically edit things on the server to turn things on and off for people and computers, but we didn't have the front end where the staff could actually do that and edit the filter types and block list and allow list and all sorts. So that was the first one, which was cool. I loved doing that. Was proper techie stuff. That was literally heavy code in the servers and Linux and everything. The next one, I delved a little bit into franchising. You heard of the term aquascaping?
No.
So think of a fish tank with fish in it, but actually it's about the design of it with the plants and the rocks and the wood. So it's about getting a stunning aesthetic fish tank aquarium by laying the wood and the plants and the rocks and the gravel, everything out in a as natural way as possible to look like a natural environment. And some of these companies that offer the products for that, it's not, you're not talking a few quid. This is expensive, massive, worldwide phenomena if you go and look on YouTube and stuff about it. And there was a company that offered the products for that had their own shop. They were looking to franchise, but the cost was like you had to invest 70 grand to take a franchise on. It's like, I haven't got 70 grand. It would have been the house mortgage to do that. My wife's like, you're not doing that. That's the house. But that was the second biggie, I guess. And there was a third one as well, actually, now you mention it, which I don't think I've talked about on social. I was quite into my modified cars for quite a long time. And I bought my first new car in my IT job from Vauxhall. And there was a part you could buy for the engine that literally added about 30% more power just by bolting it on. Literally was all you needed to do and update the software on the car. But it was 1,200 quid. I was like, that's a lot of money just for that. So basically we got to working prototype stage of our own custom build of this replacement part for the engine. And we got one built, one fitted, and we rolling road tested it, if you know what one of those is. You put your car on this machine and it tells you the performance levels. And it literally did exactly what we thought it would. And it literally added about 30 brake horsepower to this little engine. But the guy, again, that was building the stuff for me, he got too busy in his job and he couldn't fabricate these parts. It's quite complicated. So those three ideas never came off, but they were all fundamentally quite viable in terms of what's still going on. I've had loads
of ideas, but none of them was that good.
it's do you know what? It's always opportunity, and I'm not a believer in luck at any level, because everyone gets opportunities in life. You either make them yourself, or if one turns up, you either take it or you don't. The guy that pushed me into web design literally pushed me into it, and I could have gone, no, I'm not doing it, but I thought, I've got to try it, find out. And I took it and I ran with it, and I've not stopped running with it since day one. And I don't think it matters who you are. Everybody's got a skill or an opportunity somewhere that they can make something of, whatever it might be. But if you don't take the opportunity to fail, fundamentally, not everything works out, then you can't ever get out of where you are.
Resilience to failure. I think that's the key for a successful business owner, is resilience to for failure.
Every
times I've failed.
Same as you. Every step you've taken in terms of your copywriting, I presume you went from web design to copy as a fair switch. Was it quite a quick change?
Yeah.
Was it scary? Oh my God, what if nobody pays me for my copy? What about all the websites I'm going to lose out on?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. People worry about niching a lot. That's what I hear a lot. There's a big fear about niching down, and it's if you're brave enough and you go with it, it is the best thing you can do for an online business. Now that's different for a business that is serving more local customers, because it's going to be harder. Not necessarily, you can still have a niche local business, but it's not right for everybody. But for an online business, I think having a niche business is
it's easier. I wasn't aware of the difference between vertical and horizontal niching until a couple of years ago. And I think I was heavily focused on, do I need to literally vertically niche, which is where I literally say, right, I'm just going to do dentist websites from now on. That's all I'm doing. And I went a little way down that track, and I was like, I can't compete. To compete with the people that are doing that already is just bonkers, the amount of work and effort to do it. So I've gone horizontal now. I've got an offer and a package that applies and can be tailored to really any business in that bracket of what we're offering. Same as, you don't just write copy for dental websites, for example, but you've niched at a point where you just do website copy as opposed to just any copywriting. And that's a horizontal niche, not a vertical. And I think both can work, but the vertical one is a lot more difficult. I think,
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a way both, because I specifically talk to web designers. Specifically, my ideal client is a web designer with a specific problem, but my service is website copywriting. So it's kind of, in a way, it's both.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah, I get that.
But that's unusual. It's just the way that I'm the way I'm solving a specific problem. But the web designers, it's not always the web designer who's my client. It can be both the web designer and the end client, just depends.
Do you get anybody come to you without coming from a web designer then?
Very, very rarely. It does happen. It usually happens when that person has a marketing background and they know how important copy is. So it rarely happens with, your average kind of business owner, because the first thought is, I need a website, I'll go to a web designer.
Yeah.
But marketers will approach me first, and I've had, like, over the years, a handful of people who are building their own website, and they just understand how important copy is. But it is rare.
I mean, your marketing is utterly focused in terms of the vertical element. Definitely, you only market to web designers. You're not out there trying to get everybody else as well. It's literally that one thing.
It's because I've hooked into a specific problem to solve that specific problem, and that's like, and over the years I've kind of had shiny objects things, and I've like got swayed this way and that way, but like all that's made us realize is how important it is to stick with what I'm doing and really, really focus on that, solving that problem, and not, because there's lots of different services that I can offer at various price points or whatever, but it's just solving that problem.
It's that one.
And I need that kind of and a big poster in front of us. I've got it drilled into my head enough. I don't need that, but like, it would be good somewhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's there's definitely times. I mean, I know when I've changed my approach, when I brought shining as my method to work to in 2020, that was like, that's a big change for me in terms of how I was doing it before. And the type of client that wanted to work with me changed overnight, because I was working people that were paying me, I don't know whether I want to talk about prices on here, but I probably can do. I mean, back in 2019, I was starting from 350 quid for a website. And that was where the client gave me everything. I just put it together for them as they asked me. I was aware of projects that I'd done where I had copyright involved, I had SEO involved, and I knew the results were better. I'd already been around and seen a few people that came to me with the website design created. That was almost how Shine came about in my head. Was I had a lady come to me as a client. She went, "My designer's done this website design for me. Can you build it?" I was like, all right, okay. And that's so much easier for me, because I didn't have to, that element of the design was gone from my process completely. And I really enjoyed it. I went, there's something there. I've seen this little light bulb in my head pops up. And that's why from 2020, that was exactly what we did. I've got designers that do the designs for me now that are far better than I can do. And as soon as I realized that, I said, I can't keep doing it the way I was, because the results better. And the people that come to me wanting my old prices, unfortunately, I don't work that way anymore, and I can't offer it anymore.
Yeah,
it's not my problem. Unfortunately, it's not my thing.
The really good thing about Joomla, is that how you pronounce it? I always get that wrong. Joomla, is that you can create bespoke designs. That's what you're creating, a bespoke design, completely bespoke design.
I mean, that's not unique to Joomla particularly. You can do that with WordPress or any platform. I've used Joomla now since, I would say, probably late 90s, early 20s. And I just know it inside out, and I can't get my head around other platforms. And to the client, doesn't matter what platform it's built on. There are use cases where I would go, do you know what, I'm not going to do that project because it doesn't fit with how I work, the platform I've got, and I'm not going to take it on if it's not a good fit. I'm not about to try and shoehorn every possible inquiry into what we do. But it's very rare that we've hit an issue. I mean, IKEA used to use Joomla.
Right.
For their whole platform was built on Joomla. Now they don't anymore, they've changed, but that's the level it can go to. It's extremely scalable. And unlike WordPress, it's not a blog. WordPress is a blog that you add stuff to make it do more. Out of the box, Joomla's got all the SEO features, the page speed features, the content management features that we don't have to add stuff to work with. And from my end of it, whereas with WordPress, I'd have had to add about a dozen plugins to do it all. I think I had 3 to every website. That's it. 4 if I had the backup software on top of it as well, which would do. You know, and it for me, it works really well. And the clients that have come to me from WordPress and have wanted to edit their own stuff have gone, well, this is a bit easy. You know, so I've got no desire to change that at the moment. You know.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing, is that you've found something that works for you and your clients, isn't it?
It's standardized as well. So every website we produce uses exactly the same software tools. So I've only got one platform to support. Whereas if you want to go off, the problem I've got with the way some bespoke websites are designed and built is that you're stuck to being supported, or every website that business produces has got a slightly different way of doing that bit or that bit. And it's like that support headache for me was just, I don't want to go down that route. So the way that we do it now is that the support to one client to change stuff is exactly the same as another one. So I've not got to create 50 million different videos or documents on how to do it. It's like one video, that's that bit, another one, that's that bit. And it really, really simplifies that support for us and the client fundamentally as well.
Brilliant.
I like simple stuff.
Do you know, I was really nervous doing this first interview for the website copywriter channel, and it seems to have gone all right, and we're all good.
It wasn't far too long.
It wasn't as scary as what I thought it would be. So hopefully people have watched this far and they can say I'm more relaxed now than I was at the beginning. Well, thank you loads and loads for sharing all that with us. It's a really interesting story. You've got a really interesting story and a really interesting way of doing things. I really appreciate you chatting today. So what is there anything that you want to kind of share, like, I don't know, like what's going on with you at the moment? When are you next launching the Dissolve?
Membership are going to open in September. I'm still debating if we're going to do a 5-day challenge for that launch. I'm 50-50 at the moment whether I'll do that. I think I probably will, but we'll see what comes of it all. Other than that, it's just some great projects on the go. I know you're working with a few of my clients now on the copy side of stuff, which always comes first. We don't do design until that bit's done. Some great proposals out there for some existing clients, which I'm hoping will come off because they'd be absolutely amazing to work on as well. So keep me busy, plenty of things going on.
Brilliant. Cool. Right. Okay. I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to stop recording and I will chat to you in a second.